are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So they fucking did it. They did it, the cunts. They extended the lockdown in Melbourne for another 2 weeks, on top of the week we've already got left. So the lockdown ends on September 28 now. The fucking lockdown ends on September 28 now. Another 2 weeks of hard lockdown. Do you know what they did? Do you know what these fucking smarmy cunts did? The only thing they changed, they extended the curfew. They extended it from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And you're allowed out for exercise for 2 hours now instead of 1 hour. That's it. Another 2 weeks of that. And then on top of that, all these other curfews and restrictions are going to be in place till October 28. So 2 weeks is not even the light at the end of the tunnel. The fucking tunnel is long and the light's barely there. The fucking cunts. But that's me done. I said I'd give them till the 13th of September. 13th of September was my line in the sand. And now I don't give a fuck. Find me. I don't care anymore. My wife's over it too. I'm over it. Everyone's fucking over it. 63 cases today there was in Victoria. 63 cases in Victoria. I can't remember being this fucking rage-filled for a while. Maybe since my car got scratched. So what was that, like 4 weeks ago? It's a long time between drinks for me. I can't look at social media either. That's just hell. That just takes me into a dark place where I have 2 axes in the cupboard. I start wearing a mask again. I cut the eyes out of a beanie, pull it over my face, and I just go on a fucking rampage. Like a real shit V for Vendetta. A guy who gets busted after like one axing. It's fucking insane. We are now in crazy territory. We've been locked down since March. We've been under restrictions of some form or another since March. And now we're doing a full 2 months. You're allowed out of your house 1 hour a day. 8 weeks of not seeing anyone, only leaving your house to exercise. You're not allowed to go to the supermarket. You're not even allowed to go to the supermarket with your wife. You have to go as a single individual. But from September 13, I am not following the rules anymore. I don't give a fuck. I'm not built to follow the rules. I thought it was a great act of kindness from myself to give them 6 weeks of about 85% complicity. Once September 13 hits, they will be getting maybe 5% complicity for the rest of the fucking time. That's it. I'll put the mask on when I go into the supermarket if they don't let you in. That's it. I gave it a run today. I walked around the streets with no mask to see how it feels, to see what the reaction is. And you get a few eyeballs. Without a doubt, people were looking, but you've got to be fucking ready to go from 0 to 100 if they even open their fucking mouth to say anything to you. I was ready to say shit. This old guy gave me a full-on stare, and he was about to say something, and I just looked him dead in the eyes, and I was like, say something. Please say something. And I was ready to go, get back in your house, you old cunt. What the fuck are you doing out of your house? I know this isn't the way forward for a peaceful society, a cohesive, sharing, caring society, but I am afraid that none of the institutions in Australia are fucking trustworthy. None of the institutions in the fucking world are trustworthy. Not fucking one single fucking one of them. Government, banks, health, pharmaceuticals, education, law enforcement, not one fucking branch has done anything over the last 4 or 5 decades for the people of Victoria and Australia to consider them trustworthy. And to pull some shit like this, you have to have a fucking resume to show everyone. See, look at the resume. I'm trustworthy. I've done heaps of shit for you. I have your best interest in mind. I always do. Remember all those times that I always had your best interest at heart? No, I don't really remember any of those times. For example, when? Give us a couple of those examples, please, sir. I feel like what we're going to do is comply ourselves into a place where we can't return. It's going to be irreversible compliance. What's going to happen is, it's very obvious. You keep people in these restrictions for long enough that when you do ease the restrictions ever so slightly, It could be anything now. For us, we're not allowed 5 kilometers from our house. So let's say they extend it to 20 kilometers. People will be rejoicing in the street like they've won the lotto. By the time all this is over, people won't even remember what their freedoms were beforehand. They'll be just so grateful to be out of the hardcore restrictions. The hard lockdown, they will be fucking kissing their prison guard. Even I was feeling it today before the announcements were made. I was like, I can't wait to have my freedom back. I can't wait till I'm allowed to have at least 1 or 2 people in my house. That is going to feel like heaven. And yes, I know this is not fucking Iraq under Saddam Hussein. I know this isn't fucking Nazi Germany. Someone posted a picture today. They said something along the lines of, you ignorant fucks, this is what Nazi Germany looks like. And then the picture was about 50 to 60 dead bodies in a fucking pit. It's like, fuck you, that's a false equivalency, you stupid fucking cunt. That's Nazi Germany in 1945. The Nazis were in control for fucking 12 years. The Nazis took over in 1933. Show me some pictures of 1933. It didn't just go Nazi party and then the pits full of people. It took a few years to get to the fucking pits. I'm pretty sure you can go back to Stalinist Russia and find a few fucking happy photos of some weird looking Russians sitting in their lounge room watching fucking Russian Wheel of Fortune. You can find a picture for anything if you want it. And when the surveillance state comes in, how do you roll that back? I know they monitor everything already, but when they start monitoring movement in the streets, how do you claw back those rights? The right to privacy, the right to move around freely, the right to speak freely, because they're not actually rights. You have no rights. They're basically just a bunch of arbitrary freedoms that people from the past fought for, and we just throw them away for convenience most of the time. So where do you draw the line in the sand? You got to make a stand at some point, even if it's not a physical stand. At least make a symbolic stand in your fucking head. I will not go past this. These are my minimum requirements to be alive. And once you've crossed that line, we are now enemies. That's coming. That's coming. It's coming for everyone. That's not just me talking shit because I'm angry about the pandemic. The line in the sand will be coming. Everyone's going to have to draw that line in the sand at some point. Otherwise, you cease to exist. No, you don't cease to exist. All you do is exist. You only exist. And existing is not being alive. Existing is inhuman. When you just exist, you're the same as a plant. You might as well be a fucking weed. Anyway, from the 13th of September, I am fucking done. I will no longer be compliant. Expect to hear a lot more about confrontations I've had in the streets. Alright, that's it for me tonight. If you're in Melbourne, stay strong. Draw that line in the fucking sand. Your line may not be the 13th of September, but mine is. And if you're in Melbourne, give me a message, let me know what's up. We can have a chat about how fucked up it is and maybe form a little militia or something. So hit me up on social media. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. If you enjoyed the podcast, share it around and I'll see you the fuck later.